Hello, welcome to Rosie's debut. She's finally ready to be seen in public. I have added quite a nice length of off-white sari silk so that she can be closed. And I like to add some extra because you might want to tie it another way or do something else with a tie. So there is Rosie's sari. And Rosie, if you will remember, I found her in a local antique mall, and her front and back cover were loose. She had really no spine, and but I did fall in love, and I am so happy that I bought her. One of the plans that I had when I started was to put as much of that original book as possible into the Rosie Journal. So she had to wait a while until I acquired some other things, primarily suitable laces and so forth. So this is my first experience with building a spine, and I covered it with some Ooh La La Crafts ribbon, a fabric ribbon, excuse me. And so this was the original front cover. I've left the age signs on here. I've given them a little bit of an erase with a white eraser, and I think it just kind of adds a little distressing to her. So this is her front and her back, and isn't her back just lovely with these shadow bits? I really, under other circumstances, I might have used this cover on another journal, but I decided no, I plan to keep her all together, and I have. So here we have some lace additions. Here is some of the Ooh La La fabric ribbon that is under this lace on the binding. This is a piece of vintage ribbon from Switzerland. And let's start with Rosie. We're going to start by, I'm going to be sharing some of the ephemera that I added at the end because I just felt as though there should have been a lady who owned this lovely book. And so here she is. I've added a piece of contemporary antique ephemera and made some handmade seam binding leaves to add. I did not do anything to the back because that is the original backing for this card, and it was found from Springfield, Massachusetts. So here's the lady that owned Rosie. Maybe her name was Rose. I think I'll decide that her name was Rose. I also decided to make a writing tablet or a source of some extra ephemera for Rosie herself. And I've also decided to leave it unattached so that you will be free to do with these sheets as whatever you would wish. So this was the front page of Rosie, Couples and Leon Company, New York. There was no author, no year printed, and that is so often found in books of the era. So here we have the original front page and the poem, a piece of dyed paper. This was a further page on the front cover, inside the front cover of Rosie, and as you can see, it's very, very, very delightful. paper is in beautiful condition. An edition from my Go-To Thurber book that I dyed using RIT. A bird page, and I chose them because of the color of his throat. A page of dyed graph paper, a page of my own handmade and dyed Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist paper, a sheet of notebook paper, another sheet of hand-dyed paper, a recent acquisition, a bingo card, and I chose it, of course, because of the pink, a piece of a dictionary, fine dictionary page with Glimmer Mist, a very, very old, definitely antique piece, and it's quite tender, of music paper. Another, the back cover of Rosie's book. And let me take care of this, get some of this off using that white eraser, because it will remove just about anything that shouldn't be. And all gone. And a back cover for this notebook. And I just thought that these would be useful. And I'm going to use these two clips to hold them so that Rosie is ready for note-taking. And let's begin our page turn. Here were two full-size illustrations from Rosie, and I used them on the front and back covers. Here is the first page of the signature, in which I cut out another one of the illustrations and the poem. On the back, I have some stenciling and stamping, a page from my contemporary Rose book, and here we have a bit of it up here on the inclusion tablet. I backed it with a piece of the notebook paper and some stenciling and stamping. Page from my Go-To much-loved watercolor book. This is a page from my reverse painting in a chopped journal that I cut apart and decided that it just called for this antique looking book and my painting. I just decided that maybe it ought to be in Rosie and as a journal spot. Here we have Josephine, the Empress of Roses, a lovely picture, and some washi and some other bits of pretty on here. Stenciling, another dyed page with a cut-out illustration from Rose Leaves. On the green paper, I added this one because of the nice shade of green of the leaves and the yellow roses. This is Glimmer Mist on copy paper from July 12th, 1913. The back of another page from my much-loved book, and one of my posies. And I've decided to include it by cutting a very fine, two fine lines on the page so that it could be kept in here, or if you wish to remove it and use it elsewhere, when it is removed, these pages should fall back, these cuts should fall back together quite easily. So here's one posy, and you can see the backing here. More of that lovely book. And here we have the center of the signature with one of the very long poems by Whittier, and an illustration from Rose Leaves. And continuing to turn, roses and berries. What a lovely, lovely illustration that is. And the other side of the front paper, and signed by a notary public in 3rd day of January, 1910 is the date up here. Another poem on the green side, and another one of my posies here with The Red Rose Cries. That's included here, and you can use that there or whatever. Here is some of the stenciling, a piece of coffee dyed with some stenciling using the new brushes, the makeup brushes, and you do get a beautiful effect with the makeup brushes. The back of Josephine, the back of my reverse collage. This was all added with using acrylic paint and a card. And coffee dyed paper on the back of that one. And some yellow roses. Just a few of them in the book. My Contemporary Rose Book page, and some of the yellow roses. Some of the only ones actually in Rose Leaves. And I decided that that deserved a spot all by itself on the back of this lace designed coffee dyed paper. And here at the back is the envelope that I made, and I have pieces of paper for writing in here, and so that is going to be here, and then the back mimicking the front of the book. And I made these envelopes using my large rose book, so that you could include them in your journaling, places to hide papers, etc. And here we have Miss Rosie, and she is quite happy with herself, and I just have to be honest and say that she was just a joy to make. And I wish that you had feel-o-vision here, because this feels like leather. I don't believe that it is, of course, but the feeling of this cover is so delightful. It almost feels like very fine kid. And if you look at it very closely, you would almost be able to convince yourself that this was printed leather. So the quality of the paper, of antique paper, is really quite something. I do hope that you have enjoyed visiting with Rosie for her debut. And if you have, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Leave a comment about her, and I will be sure to answer. And I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Let's get a little bit closer to Rosie here. That paper almost looks like leather. It's quite something. Let's look at the back. she is quite the girl. Au revoir from Rosie.